Hello, white people. It looks like Biden is going to be our next president. Now, I know that it makes you cringe deep and hard just as much as it makes me cringe deep and hard. But we need to look at the positive side of this whole disaster. Trump, he was sort of like a placeholder so that we could get ready for this moment. And if people aren't ready for this moment, they're going to figure it out. But anyway, the good thing is that people are going to realize that nobody is going to save them. There is no white knight in shining armor who's going to be riding up on a horse to save them. And a lot of people thought that Trump was going to save them, which is really unfortunate. I mean, Trump did do a lot of really good things for people. What did he do? He passed into law that veterans can go anywhere for health care if the VA is backed up. And because I'm a former nurse, let me tell you, I have a lot of horror stories about sending patients from nursing homes or retirement centers to the VA when they've had changes in health conditions, and that turned out very badly. Anyway, what else did he do? He got rid of that individual mandate. Now, that individual mandate was screwing over people the hardest, who were people who couldn't afford Obamacare insurance and couldn't afford the fine. So it really screwed them over. So that's a really good thing that he's done for them. What else did he do? Now forgive me if I don't articulate this one really clearly, but people who had bodies of water on their property, say a seasonal one, like a seasonal creek or whatever, or a seasonal lake, or even a lake that was year-round, the government had their little fingers in it and could tell you exactly how you had to take care of that lake, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But he got rid of that. He got rid of a lot of overreaching laws. I can't tell you exactly all the laws that he got rid of, but he got rid of some of them. And then because of this pandemic, he closed the borders down. He decreased the refugee resettlement, which was huge. I mean, look at Minnesota. These refugees, they have their own cities, and if you've watched Project Veritas, you can see all the corruption that's led to, these people, they just come from these third world countries and they recreate their third world country because that's all they know how to do. We are the sum of our parts. But anyway, let's talk about what's positive about this. All right, so people who think that Trump is a second coming of Jesus, I mean, not literally, but kind of acted like he was that way. And people who had faith in Trump that he would fix the corruption are going to realize that that is no longer possible. And they're going to realize that they're going to have to be self-sufficient in turning this corruption around. And we can turn it around. There's enough of us left in this country, first of all, that we can turn this around. And second of all, it's in our DNA. For those of you who are Americans, you need to realize that you are the descendants of conquerors, frontiersmen, pioneers, and settlers. Our ancestors went through a great deal of pain, and they created this country with their bare hands. That's significant. That's very significant. And because that's our DNA, and plus, America is the bastion of freedom. The entire world looks to us. We get made fun of by the Canadians for being crass or rough around the edges, and we get made fun of by the Australians and the British, and in other European nations. Everybody makes fun of Americans because just we love our guns and we love our freedom and our liberty. And now that the entire white world is, almost most of the white world is in lockdown and living under tyranny, they're looking to us because we are their bastion of hope. And we have a responsibility to the Western world to maintain Western civilization, and we can do it. See, the thing is, the only way that we can overcome this tyranny and corruption is with the people's veto. And I made a video about that, the people's veto. We band together and we say no. We put our foot down and we say no. And it may not happen in areas where there are more scared people than there are brave people. You know, it takes a certain amount of bravery to be able to defy and overcome corruption, because it puts a little bit of panic in your heart. And if you're somebody who's not been allowed, to punch somebody in the face, you're going to find it a little bit difficult. But if you're somebody who's always been pretty feisty, like I've always been feisty, like I had to leave the West Coast because I was like close to punching people in the face. And when I was a kid, I used to punch people in the face. And when I say kid, I mean the last time I punched somebody in the face, I was 15 years old. And anyway, I'm not afraid of punching anybody in the face. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen afterward if I punch somebody in the face. And I think a lot of people are really looking at the consequences of their actions, because we're white and we're responsible people, we're not animals, we're not savages, But anyway, that's about it. So chin up, prepare for the boogaloo. The riots have erupted in cities. And from what I understand now, I haven't been in Portland in a few months. And from what I understand, after all that rioting that took place recently, that nobody's really cleaned it up. And businesses are all boarded up. So everyone stay safe and stay frosty. All right, white people, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to your comments below.